Hello everyone. As we are passing through this COVID-19 pandemic, the cases are rising every day and the death toll is also increasing. A lot of countries are in the process of research in developing a vaccine for COVID-19. And we also have some recent developments in our country for this pandemic. In this video, I just want to briefly talk to you about what vaccine is about and what are the stages it has to pass through before it comes to us in the market. So what is a vaccine? So whenever our body is infected with an organism, whether it's a virus or bacteria, an antibody is generated to fight against the antigen of those molecules. So when we have antibodies in our body, it's generally assumed that we are protected from the infection through the particular organism. So vaccine is something which is artificially done to stimulate that antibody is in our body, eventually which produces immunity against those infections. You can take any diseases, for example, whether it's polio or measles or TB, or many other vaccines that we have now. So if I think about vaccine today and I develop in the lab, can I just market it right away? Is it so easy? No. So before the vaccine comes to us in the market, there are at least 4 stages it has to pass through. One is, we call it as preclinical trial or preclinical test. In that stage, usually the scientists administer the vaccine to some animals in the lab, mice and pigs and few other animals, and see whether the vaccine actually works. Next, it goes to the phase 1 stage. In that stage, usually the vaccine is administered to human beings, healthy volunteers, a small group of individuals, and then see whether the vaccine develops any adverse events or the vaccine actually produces the desired immune response or not. The next stage is phase 2 trial that we call. In that trial, usually the volunteers who are chosen to test the vaccine are from the wider group. It could be from children, from elderly. They have a mixed group so that the vaccine actually works in a particular group or not, and also to see whether the vaccine is safe or not. The final stage, or stage 4, is called as phase 3 trial. The phase 3 trial is usually done among at least about 20,000 to 30,000 people. It's usually done as a randomized control trial. So what is a randomized control trial? So in that trial, among those 20,000 people, say we have 20,000 people, and then the 10,000 people will be given the vaccine. Another group of people, the 10,000, will be given a placebo. A placebo is something which looks like vaccine, but it's not really a vaccine. So they follow these individuals over a period of time and then see whether the vaccine has developed any adverse reaction or side effects, or the vaccine has actually produced the immune response that is needed to protect the disease, and also see how long does it really take to produce that immunity response that is needed. So then comes the approval. So the vaccine goes for the approval and finally it comes to us in the market. So even after it comes in the market, we also have something called post-market surveillance to check whether the vaccine is safe or not. So the vaccine actually could be different particles that can be used. It could be genetic vaccine where the genes of the particular virus is used, or it could be inactivated virus, the virus itself used to produce immune response, or it could be some protein particles of the virus, or it could be just a small particle of the virus which is injected into the body of human beings and see whether the immunity develops or not. So recently, you must have read in the paper that we have a Covaxin, something called Covaxin has come, and then we are all excited about how it's going to be. Covaxin is actually produced by Bharat Biotech, and there's also another company which is received approval from Government of India. It's called Cadila, the company called Cadila. So both of them are actually entering into phase 1 and phase 2 trial. So remind you, the phase 1, phase 2 trials are actually after the animal trials. Now they're going to administer the vaccine to a small group of individuals to see how the vaccine is going to work, whether it's safe or not. But recently there's been a hype about this vaccine that it's going to be out probably by August 15th and things like that. But generally I feel it's a very ambitious deadline, because the vaccine trial or the study has to be approved by the ethics committee of those particular institutions, and we need healthy volunteers who can actually volunteer to say, like, give me the injection so I can take it. And it has to be done in an utmost ethical manner, because when we are trying out a new vaccine, it should not harm people, isn't it? So it has to have we also need to have enough number of people to test the vaccine so that we can make some reasonable sense at the end of the trial. So usually it takes some time, and also this is just a phase 1 and phase 2 trial. We're not going into the phase 3 trial. So phase 3 trial are most important to conclude the vaccine actually works, that is, we call it efficacy of the vaccine, and also it's safe. So two are most important, efficacy and safety of the vaccine. So all across the globe, if you see another vaccine that comes out of Oxford, they've actually given a deadline about somewhere in the middle of 2021. But we are a little ambitious that it could come very soon. So however, it's a good news that we have actually reached some development in finding a vaccine for this pandemic. So let's see how the things roll out, and if the vaccine comes out and it's a good for all of us, that we will be able to protect ourselves from this pandemic, and that might probably stop our anxiety and fear about this pandemic. So I hope this information was useful to you. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.